to just talk really briefly today about another awesome manifesting technique, which is called 55 times 5. Very simply, the idea is to write down your desire 55 times, 5 times, so that can be over like 5 days. The reason, I mean, 55, I do like working with specific numbers, but partly just because you have beliefs set about specific numbers, right? And the main point of doing this though is that you've got intent focus for those 55 lines, and I would make your manifestation line quite short. So I'm with the one, or I'm in union, or this person's chosen me, I have this job. And it's kind of like akin to my chanting thing that I was talking about that I generally do. Straight after something I don't like happens, I chant the opposite until like the thing with the chanting thing for me, it's not even about the manifesting. Like, it gets me out of desperation phase, and it also lets me see more clearly what it is that I want, because a lot of the times the things that we actually want, we just want them from like pure ego. So for example, say your ex leaves you, like a lot of the time you just really want them back because you don't want to feel rejected. And actually, like, if you can go and do the mirror work and you can heal the rejection and you can get yourself out of rejection mindset, you actually may well start to think, actually, do I want them back? Were they the one? Or, you know, was this pure love I had for this person, or was it just attachment? And I don't actually feel like you can often tell the difference until you've cleared the attachment and the wounds and the desperation attached to that person. And they can even be people that we think about like twin flames. You know, like, I have always been very open on my journey that I've had a few, like more than one person, like represent that energy to me of that ultimate partner. And that is why I recently now love these kind of techniques, because as much as manifesting your desires, they help you to be more clear about what you actually want and what you're actually being pulled to, because it's pacifying the wound versus true love. Because the thing is, like, when you're being pulled, you know, that pulling, like, and you get all the signs and synchronicities and all these crazy things happen. And that thing that we think of as love is very often just like a pull of needing to try and get an unfulfilled part of us from another person, right? So if we can fill that part up inside of ourselves, and quite often we realize that we don't even really want that thing anymore. So for me, like, manifesting a law of attraction is amazing, but it goes really hand in hand with coming into inner union and manifesting our ultimate connection. So I love these techniques, not purely from manifesting, but they really help straighten your head and help you work out what is what. Because a lot of the time, this like crazy love that we have for people that don't seem to want to reciprocate it is quite often just, needing them, like, they're reflecting and mirroring something in us that we haven't healed within to feel whole inside. So once we get out of that need, then we can actually see what we really feel about that person and what the real connection is to that person. And I don't believe you can know that until you've cleared that energy. So that's why now, if I feel I have a connection and it doesn't work, I could go straight into the chanting. And manifesting somebody and then changing your mind isn't wrong. It's enabled you to feel empowered. It's made you realize you're the creator of your reality. You've gone in, you've done this shadow work, and then you realize quite simply that you were just trying to fill yourself up from this person, and it wasn't like true love. And like I said, they can be really convincing. I've had connections that I have felt so much love, like, you know, I thought I'd die for this person, and it's only like after then, you know, like 2 years, I mean, I'm talking in the past now, like the clearing is so much quicker now, but it's taken me like 2 years to realize that actually they were just, you know, bringing out my wounds out of me. So that feeling of looking outside of ourselves to fill ourselves can really, really, really be deceiving as feeling like you love a person. And you can only really know if you love a person when you're whole, or at least a good way to being whole, right, inside of yourself. So you're not looking externally. Well, you don't even have to be whole, but when you acknowledge everything and take ownership, only then do I really believe you can know who you love, because you're not looking to fill yourself up outside of yourself anymore. So yeah, I've deviated, but I felt that was important, and it just kind of came out. But yeah, so these techniques I feel are just so good for actually realizing what it is that you do want, and for understanding what it is that you do want. So the chanting that I talked about in my previous videos of just like when something you don't want happens, just chanting the opposite until it becomes like almost a running program in your mind. And then you'll often get to the point where you're like, why was I so desperate? Like, why? And that's a feeling that I think can come from all this side of the manifesting. It can get you into the state where you actually know clearly what you want, clearly what you're dealing with, and stop you acting from a repellent desperation phase. Because actually when you're empowered, you're attracting, you'll bring it in anyway. All these techniques really are just to help change your energy. And then, yeah, the 55 times 5, I think, is a similar thing. So it's mainly about your focus. So you're sat there and for 5 days, you're sitting and you're writing 55 times, a short manifestation phase. Like, I have met the one. That's just an example. And it really, like, hones in your focus. And if there's anything you're upset about, I would do that as well. I don't have any personal problem with, like, asking for anything. Because like I said, it will help you once you get rid of the ego desperation around it. It will help you know if you even want it. So, you know, if that's your current draw, if you have feelings for somebody that's for an ex, like, write down you want, you know, them, because I guarantee once you've like healed yourself and moved out of desperately needing them to fill you up, you'll know whether you even want them. And that's why quite often, like when you've had a period of no contact and you've gotten out of that that attachment and you've healed yourself a bit more, you realize actually it wasn't really true love anyway. So yeah, 55 times 5, it does work. It's cool. You just 55 times every day, write down your short little mantra, affirmation, manifesting phrase. And yeah, it's just about having the focus. So when you're doing it, try not to be distracted or to go off and do other things. Just focus on that exact thing 55 times. If you want to just visualize and get lost as you're writing, that's just an added bonus as well. And just be in it. And then when you finish, just drop it. You've wrote it, you've focused, drop it at the end. And like, if you can't, don't fall, like, this is another thing with letting go. Like, I don't believe you can just let go or just drop. Like, I don't believe that is a thing. And I also think you have to be careful, because if you do that and you're not in a good energy space because you still have a lot of fears and doubts, then you're just going to end up like dropping it and thinking about it anyway and trying to drop it and being miserable. Like, for me, the way to let go is actually just to get to the point where I believe and feel empowered about it so much that naturally I stop focusing on it. So I don't actively try to let go of anything. I just literally work till I feel so empowered and I love myself, and I feel like it's so possible I can have this thing, because I've been saying it so much, the desperation's gone, that it feels like a natural let go at that point. So yeah, let me know if you've tried this technique, if it's worked for you, and yeah, I'll speak to you soon. Bye.